Welcome and selamat datang to Razak School of Government's In Conversation series with His Excellency Dr. Makio Miyagawa and Dr. Rudiarto Sumarwono. We are very pleased and happy to have both of you, our speakers here today. We are also honored and pleased to have everyone here. We really appreciate and thank you for your support. We are privileged because Dr. Makio and Dr. Rudiarto has taken their time from their busy schedules to be here and also to share something that we hope that everyone can learn and also gain knowledge from today's session. Before I proceed further, I'll just briefly speak about Dr. Makio's background and also Dr. Rudiarto's background. Dr. Makio has held very different positions in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, including the Legal Desk Chief, Deputy Director of the US-Japan Trade Division, Director within the Economic Affairs Bureau, and also ASEAN Oceanic Bureau as well. He also served in the Japanese embassies in the United Kingdom and the Japanese mission in Geneva. He received a Doctor of Philosophy in International Relations from Oxford University and a Bachelor of Science in Aeronautical and Spacecraft Engineering from the University of Tokyo. He has also lectured at the National Graduate Institute for Policy Studies, the University of Tokyo, and also served as the Director of Japan Institute of International Affairs. He has also published numerous books and articles, and he has received a distinction from the Republic of France in 2014. Dr. Rudiarto is a commissioner of the Indonesian Civil Service Commission and has more than 30 years of experience knowledge in the public sector reform and bureaucratic reform in Indonesia. He brings with him a lot of wealth of knowledge and experience which he will be sharing today. He is also the former executive director of the Center for Study of Governance and Administrative Reform at the University of Indonesia. In addition to that, he is also lecturing at the Faculty of Administrative Science and the Faculty of Social Science and Political Sciences at the University of Indonesia, where he earned his PhD in public administration. Very impressive resume and CVs of both our speakers today. Without further ado, I would like to invite Dr. Kamal Muhammad Harun, our Chief Executive Officer, to moderate the session. Over to you, Doctor. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Satya. Good morning to all of you in this room today, this morning. His Excellency Dr. Makio and Bapak Rudi, I would like to really express my deepest gratitude and sincere thanks for taking your time off from your schedule to be with us at Razak School of Government. And ladies and gentlemen, I would also like to express our sincere thanks to you for taking your time off coming over to this conversation. And this is basically a conversation that will dwell on the title of Local Wisdom and Public Sector Leadership. For the information of Bapa and Your Excellency, I discovered that most of us in this room are from the public sector leadership, from the list of names that I've noticed, and I think this could be a subject that's close to your heart. Before we start, let me just I'm not an expert in this area, I have to tell you that, but let me just start what and where are we heading towards this particular topic this morning. Local wisdom is always associated to the form of knowledge that is rooted to beliefs and practices of the local community. And every local wisdom are usually based on cultural values that are considered good, right, and appropriate as agreed in the community. So these cultural values becomes sometimes a guide of life and even becomes inseparable part in the people's life of the community. So they can be observed through attitudes and behaviors and also actions. Now, in this context, the local culture has an important role for the community or the public leaders in determining their leadership styles, and it has an influence on the behavioral traits and inherent values for both the leaders and the communities. It has a strong social and cultural dimension and inherent and basically inherent values, beliefs, and practices unique to a community. Some of these characteristics can be identified and developed as unique, adopted unique leadership approaches by the community leaders. So here at Razak School of Government this morning, we wish to focus on generating a conversation. I'm talking about conversation, so it's not going to be a one-way. Please express your thoughts. Please express your views, because what we agreed to have this morning is a co-learning program. We wish to learn from you, and Your Excellencies and Bapak Rudi has already said that I'm here to learn. I'm here to learn too. So we are in a learning program. So do have your thoughts raised and deliberate about it so that we can learn from each other. So that's what Razak School of Government is planning to have this morning. And therefore, I would always say this, that thank you to everyone who are embarking on this learning program. And it's really a privilege for us at Razak School of Government to be able to host this program. I'm not going to say much about this subject because I've got two experts here. I'm going to start, by who's coming up? Your Excellency. Okay, you would like to share your experience, and then we'll go to Bapak Rudi before we start our conversation. Right. Please, Your Excellency, Dr. Makio.
Thank you for the introduction. I'm Makio Miyagawa. I'm very happy to be with you this morning to share on the concept of leadership. As he very rightly explained, that we are, you see, now here to have exchanges. So I'm not going to give lectures, but I would rather like to give a paper to you, as you look like a supervisor of myself. So I read my paper in front of yourself, then you can certainly criticize. While the Japanese economy has been declining, many countries in Southeast Asia are growing. So therefore, I wonder whether this is appropriate for myself to give a talk on leadership in front of citizens of rapid growing country, Malaysia. But anyhow, I will try. But if you ask me whether qualifications expected of a leader in Japan are different from those expected in other countries, I would say not so much. But at the same time, Japanese have some expectations, distinctive expectations for leaders. Therefore, I would be happy to explain to you. Well, in general, leaders are expected to demonstrate the ability to inspire, influence, and persuade a group to move forward. When an earthquake struck, and famine caused food shortages, when an unknown disease spread, or when national security is threatened, leaders are also expected to calm fear and rescue from the crisis. Well, this is a general expression. And worldwide, qualifications required for leaders is a high level of intellectual ability, knowledge, experiences, and a sense of responsibility. If anyone without those basics happens to become a leader, then the society could be guided in a wrong way. This is a very general expression. But Japanese organizations temper talented young people to become future leaders by putting them in a very harsh conditions and imposing them a variety of challenges. The young people in any company ought to, you see, cut short their sleeping hours, doing variety of businesses, a variety of things, and if they succeed, and if they are recognized by many as good future leader, they would have a very promising future in their life. If a society has a system that selects unqualified people as leaders, or if a society prevents qualified people from becoming a leader, then it would harm, of course, the members of the organization. This is another theory. It would sometimes be unfair, on the other hand, to blame only leaders. Unless organization under him comprehends and implements the instructions, his abilities may not produce a good outcome. Even if a leader is competent, he cannot be perfect always. So he may make some wrong judgments. The organization should have a system to correct incorrect decisions of a leader. It is easier said than done, because in any society, people hesitate to bring down the person who already in a leadership role. I'm not talking about Malaysia, I'm talking about my country. One maxim in Japan says that a precious leather clothing cannot be made from armpit fur of only one fox. And this means that organization cannot be run well by the leader alone, no matter how talented he may be. So managing an organization needs equally capable subordinates and supporters who share the same goals and objectives and values. Leaders must have an ability to anticipate future dangers and guide people towards a safer directions. I would like to quote an interesting passage written by Winston Churchill. He said, "On no one quality, on no one process, on no one country, on no one oil field must we be dependent." I think he said the safety is always in variety and variety alone. And we have similar things. I think we should not put all the apples in one basket. There are various styles of leadership. In our history, 3 powerful samurai leaders appeared in 16th century, only in 50 years. The 3 outstanding samurai warlords performed in different styles of leadership. Therefore, it is perhaps interesting for you to listen to them. The first leader appeared and exhibited as an interesting style of leadership. Metaphorically, if the bird doesn't sing, then kill it. This is what he said. This is a type of the leadership style. He was bold and decisive, but a little savage. The second leader's style was, again metaphorically, if the bird doesn't sing, then try to get her to sing. Well, he was rich in imagination. He was rich in manipulation, Also, he had good wisdom. The third leader's style was different. Again, if the bird doesn't sing, then we should wait until he sings. He was sustained with perseverance and patience. In the end, the third one united Japan and ruled Japan in the next 250 years, called shogun. One of the distinctive and unique characteristics and on the qualifications expected of a leader in Japan is the ability to continue the organization or society for a long time. This is the concept of sustainability, and sustainability is a good value for us particularly. So out of the 5,600 companies all around the world which continued its operation for over 200 years, out of 5,600, 3,100 still exist in Japan. More interestingly, out of 12 companies continuously in operation for the last 1,000 years, out of 12, 9 exist in Japan. The oldest company is a construction company still in operation, was founded in the year 578. The second oldest is a flower arrangement school in Kyoto, which was built in the year 587. Third was a hotel, still in management. And this was also recognized as such by Guinness. And the current CEO is the 52nd generation. We have another one, the casting metals, and they are still operating. Anyhow, in Japan, leaders are expected to train the next and following generations of leaders to manage the organization for a long time. There is an interesting phenomenon we found, which is the problem of the third generation. Intriguingly, and legend goes, the third generation leaders tend to crush the operation of a company. Statistically, 60% of the companies that cease to operate are those run by the third generation. Neither the second nor the fourth or fifth, but the third. And why? Equally interesting is if the third generation leader succeeds to hand over the operation to the fourth generation, then the business continues onwards for many years later. Perhaps by the time the third generation takes over, the company could no longer be possible to survive if it simply follows the previous business style. The third generation, therefore, holds the key to rise or fall. Well, again, incidentally, the current leader of the North Korea is the third generation. Lastly, on the diplomatic front, I have wondered whether Japan has played a proper leadership role in Asia. Again, whether Japan could still be expected to bear a leading role in Asia, I wonder. I would rather like to hear your views. Thank you.
Okay, before I go to Pak Rudi, let me try to wrap some of the things that I've caught, which I think really give me a lot of interest in this particular subject. Apparently, the wisdom behind the leadership in Japan deals a lot about the community versus the individual. And it was pointed out that the right of the community versus the right of the individual who are appointed as a leader. Leaders are basically individuals as trusted by the community. Leaders need to earn the trust of the community, and the community have the duty to appoint a trusted leader. So in other words, it looks a very balanced approach of appointment of leadership in a community. Now the thing is that the leaders have a duty to deliver the trust that was entrusted by the community on them. Yeah, and this is where the leader has to have the capability, the competency, knowledge. It was mentioned knowledge, intellectuality, and also most important perhaps is a sense of responsibility to the community. So there is a constant check and balance, the way I look at it, between the community and the individual appointed as the leader. I couldn't get a real, but we can talk about this on the issue of the third generation that crash an organization as opposed to the first, second, and also the fourth and fifth apparently grow the organization. Okay, we'll leave that there for a moment. If you want to take a point from there, can we move to Bapak Rudi to deliberate on the perspective of the Indonesian public sector leadership and the local wisdom? Silakan, Bapak Rudi.
Selamat pagi, Puan dan Tuan-tuan semuanya. Senang sekali pada, a very good morning, and very happy to be here to share Indonesian experience to the fellow colleagues, leaders of Malaysian public service, academician, or other area that I would like share here a little bit experience, Pak, on leadership in Indonesia and also the local wisdom in Indonesian public administration as required by the RSOG School of Government. Colleagues, I would like touch base on the concept of leadership from Western public administration, Pak. All of us here, I think, is very familiar with the concept of transformational leadership introduced by Bas, I think. And this is there is a concept of 4 I's that leaders should, let me have a little bit this, have 4 I's. First is intellectual stimulation. As a leader, we should establish the intellectual community, simulate our organization to become a learning organization. Also, we have to do the idealized influence. We should become the role model of our institution. We should walk the talk of our institution. And also the third 3 is inspirational motivation. We should create, establish, and maintain the motivation in our institution from the clear vision, provide and leading in the optimism, productivity, and others. And the last I was the individual consideration. Individual consideration is how we become their mentor, how we establish empathy in our institution, etc. I think this is the concept leadership from Western public administration. I also will touch base on not non-Western public administration point of view leadership. This is from Professor Ichiro Nonaka, Excellency. Professor Nonaka is one of the 20 leadership gurus in the world, according to Harvard. Well, if Harvard say it, I think it's maybe right, yeah, because not many times Harvard lied to us, right? So when he say he's one of the 20 top influence gurus on leadership. I think we should try it. I think we should believe it. And Professor Onaka introducing the phonetic leadership. Let's learn from Japanese culture. Japanese wisdom. Phonetic leadership based on his research in so many big, excellent, and hundreds of years company like Honda, Toyota in that book. And also I have the very excellent opportunity to learn from Professor Onaka himself. Excellency, in 2013, I was 1 week studying with him regarding this kind of leadership in GRIPS, Tokyo. Also, the third leadership that I would like to share with all of you is we in Indonesia, and I think also happen here, we have Islam leadership. Islam leadership is put in consideration very important in Indonesia. A lot of leaders try to internalizing and implement the characteristic of leadership in Islam, which is first is amanah. That we should, when become a leader, we should be trusted as the leader. That's the first character of, and then we should also sidik. Sidik, we should honest, transparent, accountable on our job and our activities. Also, we should have a characteristic as a fatana. Fatana is a intellectual, that we should become deeply in consideration for any aspect before we make a decision. And the last is the tabligh, spread out the correct information. This is the CR, this is how we disseminate the decision, the vision of our institution, etc. This is the leadership from Western public administration, non-Western administration, and even from Muslim point of view. This is only for reminding of us, because I do believe that all of us here is very much understand, but I think even they're more better than me about this leadership concept. I just like the reiterate. And then I would like to sharing the Indonesian experience, Pak, on to how we are incorporating the local wisdom in our public administration. Yes, the local wisdom we are putting in several strategic area, Pak. For example, in adat, customary law, community-based decision making. For example, that in Indonesian public administration, we now not only acknowledge, also already put in national development planning activities, that for development planning activities yearly, we should start from desa, village. We have like every year they have Musrembang Des, Musyawarah Perencanaan Pembangunan Desa. So all stakeholders in the village, they discuss together what will be the activity or what they would like to develop, to a plan or to establish something in their village, Pak. Because since I think 15 years ago, based on laws on village, now every village in Indonesia, we have around only 75,000 villages in Indonesia. They have a budget about 1 billion rupiah. 1 billion rupiah, how many ringgit, Pak? 1,000 is 3 million. 300, like 300,000 ringgit. 300,000 ringgit, so they can build whatever they think is needed, required by the village, by the desa. Yeah. And then after they have a plan in their village level, they bring it to the kecamatan level. Kecamatan, we have around 5,000 kecamatan around Indonesia. We also have Musrembang Mat, Musyawarah Perencanaan Pembangunan Kecamatan. Similar. So now representative of all villages put together and decide what is going to be best for their kecamatan next year. After that, we bring it on the level kabupaten or kota, municipality, kabupaten. We have around 550 kabupaten around the country. And then after that, we bring to the provincial level. Provincial level, we have, last year, we have 34 province. But this year, we put another 4 province in Papua. So now we have 38 province, 38 governors, and the local government. After that, we bring at the national level, Musrembangnas, Musyawarah Perencanaan Pembangunan Nasional. Usually every April, we conduct that, and the President open it with the leadership of Ministry of Planning, Development, usually called as a Bapenas. That's the kind of, that's why the Indonesian government already acknowledged and incorporated the local wisdom on the community-based decision making. On the area, the other area, we also put the local wisdom on the cultural preservation. Also, we put on a decentralization, on the inclusivity and diversity, and community empowerment. But also, like I said yesterday, to the 25 senior public officer from Malaysian agencies in Port Dickson, Pak Gamal, yesterday, we also have the challenges to conduct, how to incorporate the local wisdom into Indonesian public administration. The challenges is very variant from cultural linguistic diversity. As you may be aware, in Indonesia, Excellency, we only have about 250 language or dialects. Only 250. And we only have around 1,300 suku tribe. Only 1,000. Yeah. And we also only have 18,000 island, which is 6,000 inhabited, and only 275 million people to take care. And this will share, this is, yeah. And we only have 4,200,000 civil servants to do that kind very difficult job. Yeah, 4,200,000. Yeah. We are the challenges on the bureaucratic inefficiency, I should admit as well, and political will of the and leadership. And also we have challenges in globalization and modernization. This is the one of the big challenges that we are trying to incorporating the the local wisdom into the public administration. Yesterday I have a very good discussion with the participant, also with Dr. Kamal, that one of the participants, Dr. Kamal, said that in Malaysia now only have one midwife, traditional, only have one traditional midwife, because now midwife already need to the high level standards. Yeah, in Indonesia we still have thousands of traditional midwife that doesn't have the standards, because it's a very remote area, Pak. But like my thought to the Ministry of Health that, look, these people with this expertise is maybe already there for hundreds of years. And the Indonesian as a country only 78 years. Why we should force that this midwife, traditional midwife, to become the bidan, like with high standard, etc. Because we don't have the capacity to increase their knowledge, the traditional knowledge to the ini.
Let me frame that just a moment, Pak Rudi, for the sake of the audience. What we were talking about yesterday was, we were looking at some of the standards that is being placed to recognize the profession of individuals. So there are standards that we subscribe to, but what ended up with the traditional midwives that we used to have, and there are more in the Indonesian public, did not qualify to that standard. So we ended up only one midwife that can basically qualify and comply to the standards that we have set. The standards is basically developed by another body of standards and whatnot. But in Indonesia, you have the privilege of getting the midwife doesn't have that qualification standards, but performing the duty of midwife and still performing. They are being monitored and they are performing. I'm just framing back for the audience what we talked about yesterday. Yeah, sorry.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kamal, for your more excellent explanation for the subject that we discussed yesterday. And also, as I already shared the challenge of Indonesian to incorporating the local wisdom to the national, our public administration, we also conducted several concerted effort to try to address the challenge, Excellency. There's a concerted effort at the multiple level of government, and multiple stakeholders, also with academia, because academia is one of the most important stakeholders, because they can, with their knowledge, network, etc., incorporated this local wisdom into the policy, because a lot of government agency asking the advice from the academician in Indonesia. And how address the challenges in educational and awareness, partnership, anti-corruption, community engagement. For example, in the policy harmonization, we work harmoniously, try to incorporate some local wisdom into our law. For example, maybe all of us here understand that in Indonesia, especially in the province of Aceh, we incorporated the local wisdom, which is more of them coming from the Islam religion, to become law, Pak. They have a local regulation. It's called kanun. Kanun is based on the Muslim, kanun. This is for the provincial of Aceh Darussalam. Beside the national law, they also have the local law, which is based on kanun Islam. Also in other province of Papua and North Sumatra, there is a local regulation based on the religion of Christianity, because there is that's why we try to address that challenge. Also in the capacity building, we provide the capacity building for the stakeholders, both for the government officer, for the civil society, kelompok masyarakat, academician, try to address that challenge. Because we try to emphasize to the civil servant that, we are as a country only exist 78 years ago, but the local wisdom, tradition, the way of living been here for 100, maybe 1,000 years, Pak. Like your company in Tokyo and Japan, already 1,000 years. We also emphasize to them. Definitely, it's not always everything is a success, Dr. Kamal. As we learn, not only we learn, we conducted so much problem. Also, there is a lot of sweat, blood, everything, but we learn from it. As I said yesterday, maybe, please learn from our mistake. So you doesn't need to repeat that mistake. So you can avoid that kind of the same mistake. So you can save your resources, time, energy, etc. if you learn from our mistake. And also, I think on the local wisdom, Pak, we definitely also make a little bit progress on how we address the challenge. For example, Pak, in a local government, Pak, now we already enacted law number 6, I think, about village. Now we give more autonomy to that 75. Now a village is the very front of local governance. They have kepala desa, they have sekretaris desa, they have pejabat administrasi, ekonomi, etc. And they will have at least 1 billion rupiah, 300,000 ringgit every year to build, to respond to address the aspiration of the people, of the villagers. And also we give more authority for them to become more autonomous in their managing their village problem. We also have, for example, success in the health, indigenous health. We now already ensure, indigenous health, that we now able to still maintain the traditional midwife. There's 1,000, and maybe I think more than 10,000 around the country. We are helping them to have more better capabilities. We put them in the training and we monitor them. We become their friend. We not existing. We not abuse. We not stopping their competencies, experience, but we have become their friends. And also we already incorporated, for example, the alternative treatment in health based on our indigenous traditional health medicine, herbal, jamu tolak angin, jamu itu ya kan, jamu tolak angin. Kalau kita masuk angin, kita masuk ini anginnya keluar, malah sering buang angin jadinya Pak, karena kalau kita tolak angin, iya kan. Nah, itu seperti itu. Now, this is kind of the progress that we made, Pak. We know that we far from success, but we do what we can do, try to incorporating the local wisdom into our public administration. And the last part, I would like to share my little bit hope that experience from Indonesian. I'm more than sure that all of us here, Pak, is the best managers of Malaysian public services. But I would like that, if I may, we should increase our from become the best manager to become the best leaders. What is leaders? Leaders is not only thinking about their institution. All of you must be already top figurehead of your institution. But you should think bigger that what you can do for the Malaysian, for your country, for your public. You also think that all of you should thinking about what is your contribution or what will be happen in Malaysia next 5 years, next 10 years. That's the leaders. Leaders bring a vision, not only regulation, a procedure, but vision. What's going to be happen in Malaysia in civil servant, for example, in the area of education, for example. Also, rather than focus on the stability, all of you should be focusing on innovation and set the future direction. It's like that. And also, all of you should also two things, not only about now, but what is for the next generation for Malaysian? Because that's leaders. Leaders always think about next generation, while politicians usually think about next election, right? We're talking about next generation. Yeah, this is a true leader of Malaysia, and I believe in front of me is the leaders of Malaysia. Not only in the future, I think some here already now, but I would just like to reiterate to the importance of become leaders. And before I close my session, Pak. I would like to share, Pak, the word that I really like. This word I read 3 times, I think, when I visited Boston, and near Boston Common, the big public park there. There is a word, they put it on the street, they graffitied on the street. They say, we can build 1,000 kilometers of roads. We can build thousands of bridges. We can build thousands of buildings, but until the next generation thinks that America is the best place to live, we actually achieve nothing. That's I think try to reiterate that the most important, we build our people, our nation, rather than we build the infrastructure, etc. But build the nation is the most important thing. With this, I will give it to you back again. Thank you very much, Pak.
Thank you very much, Pak Rudi. Yeah. I think Bapak Rudi make it very clear that there is a concerted effort in embedding the aspects of local wisdom in their public policies, and some of the areas that he touches about was community-based decision making, taking into account all the communities' beliefs, cultures, and perhaps even thoughts, and also thoughts, in fact, in constructing some of the policies needed. And it emphasizes on inclusivity and diversity. Within diversity, you also talk about embedding local wisdom in the capacity building for public sector's leadership, plus education and academic, providing a local approach in educating children's. This one area that we talked about a lot yesterday. By the way, what happens yesterday was we have a program in Port Dickson on Premier Leadership Program. Pak Rudi and His Excellency Dr. Makio was also a speaker. And this was really an area that was talked about a lot yesterday. Compliance to global standards while exercising your local capabilities. And this was when the story of the midwife just now came out. Because we have traditionally for thousands of years been able to produce our midwife who is successful in handling their tasks. However, when there is a global standards that is set and the qualification or the requirement does not meet to that, what happens to this midwife? Are you going to pursue or, you know, and we were talking about how about setting up our standards that has actually been based upon the ability of our people in practicing that job for thousands of years. So that's the kind of conversation we had yesterday. And that leads to another area, alternative medicines, that we are quite known of. However, it may not comply to some of the global standards and requirements. So these are the kind of conversation that we talk. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are scheduled until 12 o'clock this afternoon. So we have about an hour. And this is the initiation talk. We hope that it will reveal and spark some of your questions and your inquiries that you want to make. And I would welcome any questions. And let the flow and the direction of today's conversation be the one that you determine, what you like to discuss. We just start the talk, and you can define where you want to go with this conversation. Please, if anybody wants to, yes, please. Yeah. You want to identify yourself, you don't mind, and morning. Okay. Is that?
Good morning. My name is Nuraini binti Ruslan, a research officer from Parliament of Malaysia. I have one question to His Excellency Dr. Makio. When you said that in Japanese, they somehow shape the talent of young people by giving them a variety of challenges. Because in normal circumstances, we want to seek leadership to the youngsters. We give them the opportunity to attend to the great talk like this, or maybe we fly them to the foreign countries to embrace new experience, or maybe short course, 3 months, an executive course. So if you can share with us what kind of challenges that the Japanese give to the youngsters to shape as their future leaders, because there's a lot lot of managers and leaders here which can benefit from your experience for them to plan for the future young leaders. My second question is to Dr. Rudiarto. With your vast experience in civil servants, I noticed that you are engaged in planning and also reform. For 1 year's reform, there are 4 years reform or 5 years reform from Indonesian. So in Indonesian experience, when there is a change of civil servants, would that impact the plan that the Indonesia plan for 5 years? Because sometimes different leaders have different vision. So they might scrap the existing plan and they put a new plan. But a plan needs at times, to ample time to be understood, to be matured, to be implemented, and then to be monitored. So for you, for Indonesian experience, is it for you? Is it good for a leaders, to totally abandon the existing plan and put their own vision on thoughts for a new plan for the current tenure? Because sometimes too rapid changes on plans could give impact to the civil servants. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you for the question. We tend to put young, possible future leaders in a very harsh circumstances so as to train them and bring them up to become very able and capable future leaders. First of all, if one joins a company and if he is recognized as a very plausible future leader, then the management will put him in a very sort of basic working circumstances. For instance, if he joins in a railway company, first he will be assigned to stand on a platform all the time from morning till evening, checking the tickets, the safety of passengers, and punctuality of the trains. If he joins in an electronic company, like Matsushita, Hitachi, he is not guided into a very nice research centers, but rather he will be asked to go door-to-door sales. And this is the basics of the organization, but he has to learn from the bottom first. And second, he will be tasked to understand the unity of the company. To understand the unity of company, he should communicate with many people. So therefore, he will be assigned to have lunches with variety of staffs. He will, and to listen to the grumbles, complaints, so as to understand what problems the company faces. And thirdly, he is tasked to become a note taker of the executive board. If you sit as a note taker in the executive board, he would understand the real problems the company itself faces. And he is, again, fourthly, instructed to draft reform plans of the department he belongs. Then he has to, you see, ask the questions from many workers and think what reform plans should be drafted. But again, this is not the end of the process. He has to negotiate with other departments. He has to persuade his seniors. And he has to have many communications. In the end, he can implement and he can, well, complete the plan. Lastly, he, is tasked to do all those things, you see, simultaneously. So what happens is that he has to shorten his sleeping hours. But by even shortening the sleeping hours, he has to perform well. And all those several years, he is put in such harsh conditions, he will be evaluated by many, not by one senior, but by many seniors to be qualified, whether he is qualified as a future leader. So it is not just one person who estimates he is good, but many who should give turn a green lights on himself. So after those difficult years, if he passes successfully, then he will have a future, bright future.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing. Yeah, I mean, that is really about nurturing a leader by design, not by chance. And it takes the whole community to agree what sort of challenges should we put on a potential leader so that he could be grounded and able to understand the whole big picture of things when he leads the organization. Fantastic. We must learn this from him. Okay, but
Baik. Puan Nuraina, researchers from Parliament, thank you very much for your very insightful question. I would like to share Indonesian experience. You're absolutely right that in Indonesia, there is a tendency for the high-level official, both appointee or elected official, minister, governor, bupati, wali kota, that they tend to like to change the policy that is it. Because if I ask why, I want to give a legacy. Yeah, but unless you can make a better policy, please don't ruin the existing one. That's already good. Ya kan? But sometimes, I want a legacy. I want to provide something. At least there is my name, etc. On that building is what you call it, inaugurated by me. That's my legacy or a policy. That's as I told to them that in a development of public administration work, in development in the society, it always takes time. It always takes time. I told to them that, look, Pak, bureaucratic reform, there's never a short reform, never short. And not easy and not short. Experience other country take at least 20 to 30 years. Then, for example, we see that, for example, in South Korea, in the late 60s, South Korea and Indonesia have a similar start. Economic, politically, back to late 60s, our middle income like $60, I think, per year. But through to the committed and sustainable reform in 2000, South Korea already become one of the Asian tiger, with the income, average income about 40,000 to 45,000 US dollar. Indonesia still $3,000. Can you imagine that? We start in the same because we are not consistent, we're not committed. Also, for example, if we see reform in other country like Singapore, we know Singapore in late 60s, and now how Singapore become, I think one of the most wealthiest in ASEAN, Pak, ya, almost 100,000 income per year, and also China. China, even in the 1980s, they doesn't know the meaning of money, wealth as a socialist country, but when then shopping, conducting his bureaucratic reform by firing like 300,000 inefficient government official And then he said that he doesn't care what the color of the cat, as long as they can get the mice. He doesn't care the system as long as work to increase Chinese well-being. And this is the evidence that reform is not easy and always take time. More than 2 decades, some even 3 decades. With this analogy, I told to the Indonesian minister, mayor, bupati, governors, you cannot change every time you empower. Because you are halting, stopping the program that in a plane, we are in a takeoff, but suddenly say, grounded, please come back to the airport. We start again, taxiing in the airport, try again. And this, before we even reach the destination, come back to the base again. Look, this is how many, this is our, our mistake for so long, I must admit. And also, but now, by law, by ini, Puan Nurani, now Indonesian government, or not now, I think already a long time ago, but we are able to reiterate that policy must always follow, obey our long-term development plan. Indonesia have first rencana pembangunan jangka panjang nasional, like long-term development plan for 20 years. We drafting this year, 2025 until 2045. The last one is 2005 until 2024. And this is now, we are writing with Bappenas the next 20 years. We also have the 5 years rencana pembangunan jangka menengah, medium development plan for 5 years. And for every years we have it RKP, rencana kerja pemerintah. It's like every year what is your plan derived from the 5 years plan, etc. With this, Ibu Nurani, I share your concern. I know that is very important to tell the high-level official that is not very efficient, not very effective to change the policy. Yeah, we should, and because this all takes time, and please commit to the plan that we have and see. Of course, there is a evaluation time, but evaluation we should need when this is already at the time to the evaluation, not changing because they want to have something like a legacy for their owners. That's Pak Kamal. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, there is a saying that true leaders leads an infinite journey. The story is not about them, but the story is about the organization they are leading. If you want to lead a finite journey, lead a football team, because you win your legacy, the game ends. But if you lead an organization, you think about placing the organization here so that the organization can go to the next level when you are gone. So that's the meaning of true leadership. So this is basically what we are talking about. So it's not about your story, but it's organization story. Sorry, please, sir. Yeah, thank you. Can we have the mic, please? Yeah.
Okay. Assalamualaikum, salam sejahtera. My name is Azrael. I'm from the Legal Affairs Division under the Prime Minister's Department. I have 2+1 question, very short one, to the both of our speaker. To get effective public sector leadership, which one you choose, meritocracy or seniority? My second question, +1, top 3 things you wish your public service should change immediately, and top 3 things that they should not change at all. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. If we ask whether meritocracy or seniority system is better for the future of our society, I think it depends upon the organization. If the company is at issue, then surely seniority would not, you see, always help. But meritocracy would certainly expand the profit of a company. But at the same time, the company can continue gaining profit, but the company should be united at the same time. As I said, leader is not the only person who can lead the company. There should be some good supporters of the company, workers of the company, and for those working in the company to feel very comfortable and feel that they would like to contribute to the benefit of the company, stability is needed. So I think, again, very banal conclusion, though, I think we need both meritocracy and the seniority. Seniority is part of the way how we should, you see, solidify the workers together. The seniority does not, if the seniority is applied in a very rigid way, 1 year is different or 2 years very different, I think this is not quite a good way to do it. But those who start working in the organization earlier may have accumulated some know-hows. So they should be respected to a certain extent. But rigidity is not good, but to a rough idea on the cohesiveness of the society is also very important. And you asked me about 3 issues on bureaucracy, what are the 3 values, elements to advance the bureaucracy. Is it the question, I think?
3 things that you wish your public service change immediately.
Hmm.
Another one is top 3 things that you don't want them to change at all. The public service.
Well, it may be different from the angles to evaluate. If I am inside the bureaucracy, then there are 3 elements which I think I regard very important. If I am outside the bureaucracy, there are some views which they expect 3 important elements to the bureaucracy. But because I was in the bureaucracy, I would like to offer you 3 important elements. The first element is the progress. If I stay in the bureaucracy, it gives me an impression that staying in the bureaucracy is very comfortable. But and the bureaucracy cannot be evaluated. The progress of the bureaucracy is not evaluated in terms of any particular profits. But there is a difference between the bureaucratic organizations which advances and those bureaucratic organizations which does not advance. And it depends upon those who are inside the bureaucracy. If anyone proposes good ideas so that this bureaucracy can advance, like I was in foreign ministry. For those in the foreign ministry, keeping good terms with other countries is one part of the expected work. But at the same time, if one proposes to create a new environment for the benefit of the countries all around the region, then this should be regarded as a good progress. ASEAN is a good example. Many years ago, such grouping did not exist. But now ASEAN is prospering. So I think within the bureaucracy, the mind of progress is very important. Second, the views should be tested by the public. One should realize what responses public give to the bureaucratic organizations. And third is the maintenance of friendship and cooperation with the counterpart in the other bureaucratic organizations. If you are in the foreign ministry, you have to collaborate with the Ministry of Finance, Ministry of International Trade and Industry. And you have also to collaborate with foreign ministries in other countries. So don't always think about your own organization, but the collaborations with other organizations which might create some future products. Could I stop? I think I talked too long. Thank you.
Yeah, I think you touched upon pertinent issues there on what to look in bureaucracies. Mind of progress is important, public view on the bureaucracy, and also maintaining cooperation with that bureaucracy, three items. Pak Rudy, you want to expand on that?
Yeah. Dr. Azril, thank you for your short question, but take for me to long thinking deep for your very short question, because it's very difficult, your question. I think even more difficult than when I'm defending my dissertation like 2 decades ago, Pak. It's very difficult. Let me try to sharing my experience, Pak, my limited experience. I think you're asking about which one we should, about meritocracy or seniority. I think, Pak, I think we need both, Pak. We need both. Why? Because this is like we learn in the public administration that honor, let's say, from the basic until medium level, we need to have technical competencies, ya Pak, ya, technical competencies, and then in the medium level until top, we need to the managerial skills, things like that. I think the technical skill that we need, Pak, is like the meritocracy that we need. Until, let's say, Pak, until middle management, until top management, we need the meritocracy. But the degrees is less and less and less. But for the seniority, it's like the management skill, Pak. The higher your position, you need more seniority. You need more experience. You need to incorporate the local, the wisdom that you can get from your university, from the competencies in the meritocracy, things like that. But so that's why, Pak, this is like, if we learn about leadership, this is like, leadership is like combination between science and art, gitu ya Pak ya. So I think the art representing the seniority, the experience, yeah, while the science representing from meritocracy that you say. That's why we need both together, but in different states, differently. First, that my response to your question, and then the top three things that should change in bureaucracy. Especially for Indonesia, I cannot speak for Malaysian because, you know, I maybe have a limited understanding, limited knowledge, and definitely I have no authorization to tell. I talk about Indonesian civil servant. I think the three things that they should change is first, the way they do their work. Now it's more, the way they do more work is like, they should think. New paradigm in the public sector around the world is the government officer, the public service should working in a collaboration mode, networking, coordination, things like that. Because in Indonesia, many, I think almost most of the 4.2 million civil service, they say every day I will collaborate, coordinate everything, but reality is the most difficult thing to do. They say we'll collaborate, coordinate it, yeah, but they doesn't want collaborate, share their own authority, for example. Moreover, they doesn't want to share the budget that they have, ya kan? Because the budget is saying, oh no, I can share everything except my budget, ya kan? This is Indonesian. I believe not in Malaysia, in Indonesia. In Indonesia like this. I talk to the thousand of the civil servants from, look, for example, if this budget from your ministry, this is not budget for your ministry. This is budget of the state that being dititipkan and administrate and you're accountable on your ministry based on the function. But this is for the development, for example, if this is public work, ya, kerja raya, is to ensure that all public works in Indonesia is is done based on plan. This is not the budget of Ministry of Public Works. Also local government. This is bukan uang pemerintah provinsi Papua, this 25 trillion rupiah. This is money from the government of Indonesia to ensure that the development, that all development programs, activity in Papua province, for example, can increase the well-being of people in education, health, economy, etc., etc. This is so. It's like I've been more than 15 years, but I know I'm not always success. Sometimes I earn more enemies than friends, ya kan? Because people doesn't like if we talk to. But this is first that this should change the way of the thinking. That in my 35 experience, there is no one problem issue can be solved only by one institution or ministry, Pak. Need collaboration. I can explore there later on if I have a time. And then the way that's the paradigm of work, they also need to change the way of their work, Pak, basing the technology, Pak, in Indonesia, I think, and we already have a government regulation on SPBE, Sistem Pemerintahan Berbasis Elektronik. I think that's government regulation 95 in 2018. Maybe in around the world we call it e-government. Yeah, we should work in with to optimize using the any IT, digital, etc. Because Indonesia very various condition, Pak. 18,000 island from Aceh to Merauke, and then very wide. If we're not using the IT, our work going to be very slow, very long, costly, etc. But now, even thanks for the very, very simple, yet very free, Pak. Using WA, we have like WA group minister, WA group director general. Now, yeah, we can share the policy, the problem, information, whatever happened in Papua, in the same second, we can report in Jakarta. Like before that, later, like 1 week from Papua to Jakarta, we drive again, 1 week back to Papua. It's like half months just to, but now, thanks, this is example of very easy. But in Indonesia, they like to build their own application system, Pak. In Indonesia, Pak, like last 3 months, Presiden Jokowi said like, why Indonesian government, both central and local, have 27,000 application from every its ministry, and to make it worse of that most of the 27,000 application, which is built like sometime 1 million ringgit, yeah. 1 million ringgit, 100,000 ringgit for application. And also, what they more said, that most of that application cannot work together. There is no interoperability. So like, why make your own application only for your ministry? It's like that. That's why with the new government regulation on e-government, we now try to integrate this. We try to make it, we call it memakai aplikasi berbagi pakai. So like one ministry should can be able to all local government, etc., and other ministry also can interoperability can be work together. And I think, Pak, the other three changes that I wish for Indonesian civil servants to change is like they should be more thankful and grateful what the government can give to them. Most of Indonesian government always complain about their thinking low salary. Yeah, if they compare to the private sector, maybe the salary is lower. But they should know that on any occasion, any level, their salary of civil servant in Indonesia is quite in the middle now. Quite in the middle. Not the top, I told them, the government doesn't have the capability to pay. But you are luckier than 100 million people that even doesn't get the job. Yeah, kan? You know it's quite okay. And I also told them, look, in the COVID time, 10 of millions people in Indonesia lost their job in the hospitality industry, like hotel, MICE, and COVID time, airline, a lot of pilots lost their job. But in the COVID, I never heard one from the 4.2 million get fired because of COVID. You should be grateful you have your job. Okay, Pak, okay. You should, yeah, because if we think in, I don't know in English, I think you should change your point of view, mindset. They say, okay, I have enough. Bersyukur apa yang sudah di pemerintah gitu kan ya. If we talking about, oh ini kurang, besar, kecil, we always nggak pernah grateful. When we grateful, we always merasa cukup. That's enough aja. Oh, okay, Pak. This is, I think, the three things. Oh yeah, okay. Well, you have maybe burning issue. Yes, please. Please, Dato'.
Terima kasih. Saya percaya ramai tadi anak muda ya. Now come from the senior ones.
Oh, yes.
Saya dengan bapa sama 35 tahun dalam public sector. Now sama di Public Service Commission ya. So my two burning questions. Yeah. We have heard so many just now, but I think how do we, this is my challenge as well, yeah? How do we actually, from both experience from Indonesia and Japan, actually get our public servants to be what we call in Indonesia as menjiwai. Yeah, this is very tall order, and I face a lot of challenges in trying to internalize this among our public servants. Until today, I'm striving. And how do, in the Japan experience as well, you imagine your culture or local wisdom of picking up rubbish, very simple example, has been kind of, well-recognized behavior and culture that how do you assimilate all this in the public sector context? Yeah? That's one. Number two is, how do you reduce the challenges, especially in Malaysia? Yeah, I don't want to call it interference, more on intervention of the stakeholders. Yeah, reduce the this every time we change leaders, the kind of direction changes. We doesn't mind to go to the moon, but if you change back into square one, like Bapa is saying, this is what our concern is. So Malaysia as a whole has been going up and down, starting to gear to tak boleh move into a next level. That's the challenge that we're having now. So maybe from Indonesian context, how you maneuver this, and also Japanese experience, how do you institutionalize this in terms of governance, in terms of your bureaucrats, to what you are today. Thank you.
Excellency, by the way, menjiwai is about internalizing your,
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the explanation, because I had some blackouts. No.
It's difficult to express.
I see. But anyhow, how our government has been assimilating those merits into a policy, if I may, I think first our government asked, many years ago, the local governments, municipalities, how they should give advice to policy matters. And those municipalities again go down to each small towns and villages. Many years ago we had the chiefs of towns, chiefs of villages appointed by the municipalities, but now they were elected by themselves and chosen by themselves. And those small communities, they discuss many things. House representatives meet once a month nowadays, and they discuss how to improve the community. Garbages are one thing, some noises are second, some environmental things or construction should be regulated third, and how to look after small children doing some awful things. It's not that the parents, but others, adults, should look after them. Those things are very minor things, but you see, very important. And they have been report back to the municipalities. Municipalities report back to the states. And all through those processes, government started to plan programs. If some needs the legal institutions, they would ask the lawmakers to place it into a national law. I think this is the rough idea we have been doing for the last 80 or even longer years, even before the war. Communities were encouraged to work together. And this cohesiveness and frequent discussions amongst them are very important. I think I should stop and ask. Yes, please.
Add on this part, yeah? Because what happened comparatively in Malaysia, or even in the context of Sarawak, for that matter, East Malaysia, you see, you have come to a level of sustainability where actually you have transferred it to the community. Yeah. So meaning to say, your council do not do all this garbage collection and all those things anymore. Yeah, because everybody pick into their pocket, put into their pockets. Yeah. But it's lessen the burden of the council. But here, in Sarawak, for instance, we are looking at ways how we collect all these garbages. You know, instead of transferring it to the community, we are thinking of how innovative we are in collecting the garbages. You know, so we have to find fun, you know, to see how we can be more efficient and effective in collecting garbages. You know, so this is the difference in how we build a sustainable local wisdom into the bureaucrats and into our processes and into our public sector initiatives. Yeah. So I'm still, you know, we learn a lot from Japan. We send our people to Japan, to Meiji, for example. You know, we come back, we're still like this. You know what I mean? Yeah. Is there some secret that you don't share with us? No, sorry. I'm trying to be, you know.
Very kind, thank you. I feel.
Sorry, I'm just joking.
No. But I feel very flattered. Thank you. But we're trying to create some nice patchworks. And patchworks would go deep into the public. For instance, reuse, recycle, and reduce. And this is the three patchword for the efficient use of resources. And this patchword now has now been going around the whole world, and environmental discussions in the United Nations. They may sometimes refer to this three patchword which originated in a small village in Japan. But those are fairly effective, and government should make use of this without any, giving any budget, huge budget. But there are many things, but it's difficult to cover everything. We should discuss, and I'm very happy to have continue exchanges with you.
There must be a secret recipe.
There must be a secret. Yeah. Bapak Rudi, you want to add to the response?
Yeah. Thank you, Dato. I think how we are menjiwai, how we are try to internalizing, I think this is coming from Indonesian experience. We start basing from the desa-desa, Ibu. So it's like in each desa, based on their local wisdom, we still able to maintain the local wisdom on that not all the activities in Indonesia can be done in a modern way, like our bureaucracy think we are the best, but actually not in Indonesia. In Indonesia, we still, the bureaucracy sometimes more inefficient compared to what happened in the public. And also, this is a continuous process. Besides in a family, they're doing that in almost daily basis. Also in education, Indonesian curriculum, national curriculum allow like at least 25% curriculum is based on the local situation, local language, local culture, local wisdom. They incorporated in the school from elementary school. For example, in Sumatra, they have a local curriculum of that, 25%, in Papua, etc. That's why I think this is part of to keep the national interest, to put the local wisdom still untuk menjiwai, how they menjiwai. Indonesia is a big country, so diverse, but yet diversity, our different should unite us, not the other way around, not make us more polarized, etc. But we use that diversity is is to mempersatukan kita. This is also we put it in our Pancasila. Pancasila is the highest philosophy of the country. The second Pancasila is a persatuan Indonesia. So we know we are from different, but we hope, not always success, sometimes we have a problem. We still have problem in Papua now. Still, fortunately, the problem in Aceh already solved now. But most of Indonesian people think that we need united in our diversity. And then also, I think, similar like Malaysia, we put religion as also one of our way of thinking. In Pancasila, even the first is ketuhanan yang Maha Esa. So we acknowledge six religions in Indonesia, and Muslim is like 85% from 275. So we put that in our local wisdom. We try to menjiwai Indonesia as one big family from various background, culture, religion, and etc. But in the civil servant, Ibu, we have like to internalize that philosophy, value. We have like mandatory latihan dasar for civil servants. That's about, before is almost 6 months now, I think become to 1 month. Mandatory training to become civil servant with the value, the value of Indonesian civil servant, value of Indonesia, etc. And also we have short annually reiteration again about this value. And we also put that now in Indonesia, I think since 10 years ago, we introducing the civil servant body. Like in army and police, we call it dulu kakak asuh namanya. Ya, kakak asuh is like one senior mentoring several junior. They should itu seperti itu. So it's like, so we know that we have kakak asuh yang provide us with what's called wisdom, insight that will helpful, that we will not get in the university or etc. But in the long in the job, mentorship, maybe things like that. I think this is Ibu Datuk Sabaria, the one that I can share about how the Indonesian bureaucracy try to first establish for the young new recruit, but maintain that the internalizing the spirit, the value of become civil servant, of become Indonesia. Yeah, I think this that I can respond to you, Datuk Sabaria.
Okay. All right, please. Yes.
Thank you, doctors and also Excellency and the doctors. I just have to pick up from my chairman here now, Datuk Sabaria. The last question, reduce the challenge of intervention. If you don't mind to elaborate that. Then the second, my name is Antonio from same State Public Service Commission. To Professor Dr. Makio, if you don't mind to elaborate the third one, the Shogun. You see the Shogun, the 16th century Shogun, the bird don't know to sing, wait until it sings.
Yeah.
So can you elaborate that can stay for 200 years? Maybe the third Shogun, the three Shoguns, no? Sorry, three samurai leaders. Yeah.
Samurai. Yeah.
Samurai.
Yeah.
The bird wait until it sings. You don't mind to elaborate a bit so that we understand better. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, you want to go for the first question that you posted just now? Yeah. How? Yeah. Okay, Pak Rudi, how do you reduce?
Intervention from the Thank you, Dato Antonio. How we try to reduce intervention, intervention especially from political appointee. Stakeholders. In Indonesian bureaucracy, we try to reduce the intervention because we cannot like 100%, but we try to minimize the intervention is through first we establishing the law, because if the law is the way that made everybody understand that this is the highest initial law, and then maybe we will develop a comprehensive plan, and we will discuss with the stakeholders to ensure that intervention is not come to us with a very ridiculous point of view. We should have a clear vision, clear strategy, what are we going to do with our plan. And until we know what we're going to do, we cannot answer to the intervention. Then we can answer to this kind of intervention. If we doing plan A like you like to do, there is the result, there is the challenge, there is the achievement, things like that. Because unfortunately in Indonesia, Dato Antonio, that intervention mostly coming from the political party. Why? Because political party is the only institution that allow to giving the candidate of the governor, the mayor, the bupati, member of parliament. And again, in Indonesian experience, a lot of member of parliament, governor, bupati, wali kota, they doesn't have the experience as a bureaucrat. I don't know in Malaysia and Indonesia. Now we in the last 20 years introducing the direct election, which is untuk jadi bupati, kepala daerah, doesn't need requirement, pernah pengalaman in birokrasi, blah blah blah. As long as you popular, you can elect it. In Indonesia, a lot of singer, former singer, movie star, celebrities, they doesn't know everything about birokrasi, now become the governor and make a decision. It's like unbelievable. But that's the reality in Indonesia. And we should deal with that. Also, also member of parliament, there doesn't have requirement must have experience 5 years in managing constituents. No, Indonesia with the localization, no, is that the most popular, the most possibility that you win. A lot of Indonesian dangdut singer become member of parliament. Can you imagine that? Discuss with us, bureaucracy with 20 years experience, and they say, oh, I don't think that's good, blah, 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 blah. And to make us what? And the parliament, meeting, when they asking, I don't think that, when we respond to them, she just going out from the room. And that's the Indonesian experience. I think we have difficulties. They have difficulties, Pak. But I think we are now drafting the strategy that we should have the plan. We should have the strategy to respond to their concern. A lot of political parties, member of parliament in Indonesia, they say, pokoknya, oh ya harus gini, but they doesn't have the justification, the framework. There isn't a framework. But they say, I'm a member of parliament. It's like things like that. I think the way we try to reduce that intervention, Pak, we have a very comprehensive plan. We know what we're going to do. We know what happens if we provide the alternative option policy. Policy 1, this is the result. Policy B, policy C, yes, this is the authority of the governor, of the mayor, of the bupati, of the president, of the minister to choose it. As we are, as a bureaucracy, like draft the plan, provide the framework of the policy. I think that's Dr. Anthony.
Okay, you want to address a second question to Your Excellency about bird.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
I doesn't know what the first bird. What is the third bird?
Forced to say.
No, first of all, this is, I'm not, evaluating any one of those amongst the three. First of all, this you have. Let me explain to you the historical circumstances. This was 16th century, and Japan was in a strife, internal strife, of many samurai lords, and it was divided into pieces. But Europeans, Spanish, Portuguese, were approaching Asia, and there was a danger that if Japan continues to be divided, then Europeans might take this as a good opportunity to colonize. So there was a very sincere need, an imminent need to unite our nation. So the first leader, mobilized forces, samurai forces, guns and things, to anyhow wield over the opposition samurai lords. And they tried. He tried, but he was assassinated halfway. The second leader was one of the subordinates of this first leader. He tried to manipulate all those opposition leaders to get united. He was very close to the unification of Japan, but bad luck, he died due to his age. And the third samurai leader received anyhow the ripe fruit. Fruit was given automatically in his pocket, but he continued not to make any strife against anyone, but waited. So it was, in a way, by coincidence that the third leader was able to unite the whole nation. Thank you.
Okay, so it's an evolution kind of thing. Yeah, create the awareness, put up the challenges, and suddenly people realize and get together. That's the most important thing that you have to be, right? Wow, fantastic. Okay. All right, okay. Any more from... Sure, yeah.
My name is Rauda. I'm from Padu.
You have the mic.
Hi. My name is Rauda. I'm from Padu, Kementerian Pendidikan Malaysia, Ministry of Education, right? It is a very interesting talk regarding the required and acquired kind of skills needed in an officer. And one of the Excellency had mentioned, the required and acquired samples that you use is actually from the private sectors. What about your public sectors? Do they also been pushed, pressed into certain kind of qualities before they are actually into the leadership kind of posts? And I'd like to hear from Dr. Rudy and how actually Indonesia tackle your public service officers, whether they are also put into that kind of pressure and they are put a kind of required and acquired kind of skills to be measured before they come into a good post leader. Thank you.
We put Papa Rudy first?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, Puan Fauna from Padu. Yeah. In Indonesian bureaucracy, we then now, because in the last 10 years, based on law, Indonesian Civil Service Law number 5, 2014, we are now trying to make all the new entrants of civil servants into the program that I said earlier. There is mentoring, there is buddy system, kakak asuh. There's also a group of the association based on institution, sometimes based on profession. So like there is association guru, for example, association for planner, etc., etc. Then we are, it's like, I think the way we are mentoring them, surely not as as not hard as on a on the private sectors. In private sectors, I see in private sectors, they're sometimes giving so much liberation for the new staff dealing with bigger and complex problems, while in a public sector, we have like, okay, if you like just new staff, let's say golongan 1, 2, 3, this is the kind of your responsibility. Ya kan ya, this is the but in a private sector, sometimes you only 3 years in the business, but you already dealing in bureaucracy, maybe director or even director general levels, things like that. We are try to do that. I know not always success because Indonesia every year we recruit about 150,000 new civil servants. But they are doing it step by step. And I can say that usually after around at least 15 years in the service, they maybe can get a role as a director level after 15 years. Because in Indonesia we have ada naik pangkat dulu, naik level, baru bisa jadi director. Nggak, like a private sector, if we think you are competent, you prove with a good result, yeah, the career management in the private sector is more easier, more looser, more relaxed compared to our in public sectors, right? This is what happened in Indonesia. I hope that's a response to your question. Thank you.
Okay. Your Excellency?
Even in the bureaucracy, we put a young officer to very bottom organizations. For instance, one who joined finance ministry, which includes tax revenue collection. So the young officer is dispatched to stay in a small tax office in prefectures. For those who join telecommunication, post and telecommunication ministry, young officer is also again sent to a local post office. So likewise, important element for those young officers to acquire is the organizations and activities at the bottom of the structure. So we continue to do so. Well, slightly different, of course, from the private sector companies, but even in the public sector, we do so. Thank you.
That is a structured approach. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yes, please. Yeah. Do you want to raise up your hand again so that we can? Okay, there you are.
Yeah, very good morning or good afternoon, Your Excellency, Dr. Makio, Dr. Rudy, and Dr. Kamal. I'm Chan from Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation. I just have a simple question to ask about, because Malaysia, just like other Asian countries, we are very rich and deeply rooted in our culture and also belief system. So how do we actually get this, what is it called, the cultural nuances to be communicated in the international forum, like the platforms, so that we can go against, not to say go against, but to communicate better against other more secular and also mainstream values. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. I think many countries and many people in Asia have started to recognize that rather than accepting the suggestions from international community, they have, and we have, started again to consider within ourselves whether such value standards given to us, was suggested to us, are of our own or not of our own. This includes SDGs or ESGs. This was, of course, agreed upon in the United Nations. And the bureaucrats, diplomats representing many countries discussed at the level of United Nations in New York or in Geneva. And they agreed in the end that these are the Sustainable Development Goals. These are also important for finance, for many private sectors. But are they, you see, really of our own? And I think Asians, I am one of the Asians, we should digest. And I think we should read through and whether these goals agreed upon in the United Nations are fully recognized by our own people out of the Asian values standards, that they apply or they should apply to us or not. And I don't think that these standards are instructions from the international community. These instructions, these standards are suggestions. And all those suggestions should be again digested amongst ourselves. This is what I think we call an activities that avoid. I think the terminology is not perhaps proper. Avoid the colonization of thoughts and values from the whole world. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Chang, for your question. I think related with Excellencies Makio said that in public administration area and public administration theory, we are too long try to internalizing what we call it Western public administration. A lot of reference book theory is about basing on the Western public administration. I think about 15 years ago, maybe or more, now we are establishing a new paradigm. non-Western public administration. We can read, this is including the scholars Wolfgang Dassler, I think, the one of the expert. Also, suddenly I forgot my name, my friend from Florida University, his wrote book, The Sound Governance. Sound governance is said that should public administration in every country in the world should acknowledging, also internalizing and implementing the public administration based on their culture, based on their local wisdom, based on their vision, based on their interest. This is like relating, because we have been so long following that everything is based on Western public administration. For example, if we're talking about accountability, or let's say in Indonesian custom, I don't know in Malaysia, in Indonesia, in a village, in a local area, even in Jakarta, we've been taught from long time, if somebody give you good service, good service, we should say thank you. Not only say thank you. In a local, in a village, usually they come with giving them with pisang 1 sisir atau kasih mungkin gula 5 kilo dari gula aren. Mereka seperti itu, bring their from their livelihood gifts. This is food say thank you. And this is in our culture. But in a Western population, this is bribery. Iya kan? How come? One pisang that from kampung bawa, if we say no, they say being insulted, kan? You not accepting my grateful, things like that. That's why now paradigm new Western public administration try to incorporating our local wisdom. That a lot of Asia countries, Japan, Korea, China, Indonesia, Malaysia, that we have their own wisdom. That what is the bribery anyway? It's like the pisang yang dibawa orang dari dusun di Selangor itu bribery buat kita. Itu is like ucapan terima kasih. This is the dilemma between Western and non-Western public administration. That's why also I think I think this is also happen because of the different paradigm on public administration, that before we are implementing the old public administration Weberian style, that we are the government is the only one who doing everything. We are rowing, we are doing everything. But in late 70s, early 80s, there is a new paradigm in the public servant we call new public management. New public management based on the book wrote by Osborne and Gabler, Reinventing Government. Using now that we think public as a client, so we should provide service that effective, efficient. Also the buzzword from the new public management is the government is not rowing but steering. The government should steering, not rowing. Yeah, right? Steering. And then the newest paradigm in a bureaucracy, public administration, is NPS, New Public Service, from the Den Haag 2000. Now the government not only steering but serving the public. This is I think the new paradigm that we should try to incorporate it in our public administration, and the most importantly, we should put our local wisdom, culture, history, language, even religion into that public administration. Yeah. I think this is my response to Ms. Cheng's question. Thank you, Dr. Kamal.
Thank you, Bapak. Okay. Well, I would love to go on, the discussion, guys, but we promised 2 hour session this afternoon, and everybody has got an engagement. On a final note, from my side, I think the communal coalition among us is what strategy we have to build our stronger nation, and it so certainly has to put the element of local wisdom in collating, getting everybody together to move. But I'd like to take this again to say thank you very much to Your Excellency Dr. Makio, Bapak Rudi, Dr. Rudi. Thank you very much for taking your time off and accepting our invitation to have this conversation. And above all, I would like to thank all participants who have taken your time off from your busy schedule to be part of our conversation. It has been very inspiring, and we're taking notes of all the elements that you put up, because RSOG intends to create modules that would move us forward, and we are focusing on public leadership and local wisdom this time around. Okay, so can we give a big round of appreciation, applause to him? Thank you very much. I hope to see you again, and thank you for coming from the bottom of my heart. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kamal, for moderating the session, and Dr. Makio and Dr. Rudiarto for a very fantastic, excellent session. And thank you very much for sharing very practical examples and also frank discussion with our participants. Before we go, I'd just like to invite Dr. Kamal to present a token of appreciation to our... Can we give them a round of applause? Thank you.
This is a guy we haven't got a picture just now.
Yes.
Okay. Because the shadow. Oh, the shadow is on. Yeah. Okay. You want to go this? All right. Thank you very much.
Before we end, we would like everyone to your cooperation to scan this QR code for evaluation and feedback. Thank you.